Yo, what is going on, guys? Solito here, bringing you guys a Battlefield 1 Mage equip guide following our episode 1 of our Battlefield 1 Mage stat guide. Now, before I actually get right into the guide, I do want to tell you guys a little bit of course, a disclaimer. Everything that's going to be said on this video is only based on my experience from camping Battlefield 1, and it is also my opinion. So if you guys want to try something else other than the things I'm going to be recommending you guys, please feel free to go for that. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the guide. Now, before we actually start with the hat options or explaining the hat options, I do want to tell you guys that every single class on the World Magic, especially on Battlefield 1, has different builds. So a support mage is going to have like a tankier build, and a mid mage is going to have like a mid, you guys get it, like the skill builds gotta match the equip build. So I'm just going to be narrowing it down and explaining a little bit as quickly as possible as I can for you guys. Now, let's go ahead and narrow these things down as the best items. Give me a second. Okay, now pretty much every skill, not the skill build, but pretty much every equip build is going to be the same as the warrior and the ranger. Only quite a few equips are going to be changing, like the hair feather and the whoopah hat are going to be replaced with the magician hat. So basically, as the three best items as the warrior and the ranger are going to be the frog hat, the Santa's cool hat, and the magician hat. Now, the frog hat is only in terms of speaking, like if for those of you guys like that have watched my part 1 of the mage guide, and you guys will know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that have not watched my part 1 of my mage guide, please, you guys have to go watch it if you guys are going to be using any of my recommended items that I'm going to be explaining to you guys. Now, the frog hat, like I said, like I was going to be telling you guys a little bit later, but yeah, the frog hat is only good on a burst mage and a mid mage, while the Santa's cool hat is only good on a mid mage and a support mage. And last but not least, the magician hat is only good if you guys are going for a burst mage build or a mid mage build. A magician hat will not give you the best what do you call it, the best resilience, attack, etc., all that good stuff on a support mage. So that's pretty much for the hat options, guys. And yeah, all these three items are pretty cheap to get, pretty easy to get as well. So moving on to the necklace options. For the necklace options, we have, give me a second, let me narrow this down. We have the same three necklaces as the ranger and the warrior. We got the coral necklace, the dark skull, and the mother nature. Pretty much nothing else to explain here. The coral necklace is good for all classes, and of course, if you can afford dark skull, just go for the dark skull. It's good for all three skill builds, or not skill builds, stat builds for a mage. And of course, if you can afford a mother nature, go for the mother nature. It's the best necklace on the game so far that is currently out. Now, without pretty much nothing else to explain for the necklace option. Now, moving on to the cloak options, guys. And this is, wait, do I have the circle? Yeah, I do. And where's the cloak of will? There we go. So for the cloak options, we only have the cloak of will. The reason I'm not circling the bulldozer's cloak as well as on the ranger and the warrior guides, equipment guides, is because a 0.2 cloak of will is 2 times better. Not 2 times better, like 1.5 times better than the bulldozer cloak. So the bulldozer cloak is only good for those people that cannot afford a cloak of will 0.2 or higher. But if you can't afford a 1.0, a mat style cow, that's what we call it, aka cloak of will, go ahead and go for the cloak of will. But if you can, then just go for the bulldozer cloak. It's still gonna give you that good +2 armor. But yeah, pretty much nothing else to say for the cloak options. And moving on to our armor options now. Let's see, where's the little circles? I can't seem to find it. Okay, there we go. So for the armor options, compared to the ranger and the warrior, if you guys watched my guides, a warrior and a ranger only pretty much can only use like one type of armor, which is the Santa costume, while the mage here actually has one more kind of armor it can use. So we got the mushroom robe added here, so I'm just gonna read the stats for you guys. The mushroom robe comes with a +2 armor, and of course these are the mat stats. So HP is gonna give you +11, MP +15, and a mana regeneration of 2. So that's really good for if you guys are running low on mana, just go for the mushroom robe. But yeah, so let me go ahead and explain. So the mushroom robe is only going to be good for if you guys go for the burst mage stat build or the mid mage stat build, not on a support mage. The standard costume goes best for a mid mage and a what do you call it, a support mage. Santa costume does not go that very good with a burst mage skill, which you have full INT and no HP enchanted gear. So that's pretty much it. Of course, the mushroom robe does give you that nice mana regeneration, which is 2, and mana plus 15. I mean, it's pretty hard to find a match stat mushroom robe. It took me a lot of time to find my match stat mushroom robe, but it's really worth it to wait for a mushroom robe. So little quick thing before I actually move on to the belt options. If you guys are gonna go for the mushroom robe, and just make sure your HP is at least, since the max is 11, just make sure your HP is like at least I'd say like 7 and up, and your MP at least like around 10 MP. That's how you know when a mushroom robe is decent. Of course, the mana regeneration is the same for every robe. Now, what do you call it? If you guys are PvPing a ranger, like let's say 1 versus 1, if you guys are PvPing a what do you call it, a mage, just go for the mushroom robe, because you don't need the Santa costume when PvPing a mage. But if you guys are up against a ranger or a warrior 1 versus 1, just forget about the mushroom robe and go ahead for the Santa costume. That's gonna give you more survivability and basically take 10 hits more often. So moving on to the belt options, guys, we're gonna be narrowing down. Let me see, there we go. So pretty much the funky skin belt, I think I've already explained it 2 times on the warrior and the ranger equipment guide, so just forget about the funky skin belt and just focus on the Maggar's belt if you guys are able to get the Maggar's belt. But if you guys aren't able to get the Maggar's belt, go ahead and go for the cheap option, which is the funky skin belt. And make sure, if you guys are going to go for the funky skin belt, make sure it has at least a plus 10 HP. Anything lower than that is not really recommended on buying. And funky skin belts are really cheap to buy, of course. They're like lower than 100k, of course. That is if they don't have any stat enchantment. And let's see, for the Maggar's belt, pretty much nothing else to say. If you guys can, if you guys have the time to farm for the Maggar's belt, and if you have like a friend to help you out, go for the Maggar's belt. It's the best belt for Battlefield 1. And moving on to our, give me a second here, to our boot options, and let me narrow them down. Of course, we have the same boot options. Nothing much to explain on the boot options. The boot options for the belt, boots, the belts and the boots are pretty much the same for all 3 classes for Battlefield 1 as a warrior, mage, and ranger. So like I keep saying, if you guys can't afford a wing boots, which I know pretty much not all of us can afford wing boots, since they do cost like around 80 mil depending on the stats. But if you guys can't afford a wing boots, go for it. You're gonna be a god on Battlefield 1. But if you guys can't afford a wing boot, go ahead and go for the savage boots. And if you can't afford that, just go for a boots of speed, but make sure it is maxed stat at 5%. But if you, other than that, savage boots are pretty easy to get, pretty easy to farm as well. Just go join dungeon, not dungeon battle, but what do you call it? Go ahead and join the arena. There we go. That's what it's called, the arena, right next to yeah, pretty much right on top, and just make left on like the pet coin maker, and yeah, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Let me move on to the next option. So for the next option, we got the old woolen gloves, and compared to the ranger and the warrior, they their gloves are called the leather gloves, which give them 2 armor and HP plus 2. So for the old woolen gloves, pretty much that's the only option we are going to have as camping as a Battlefield 1 mage. But just make sure your old woolen gloves have that match stat of HP plus 1. I mean, it's pretty easy to get. You can buy it for someone. Plus 6 cost is like around, depends who sells it to you. Shouldn't cost, if you guys are going to buy a plus 6 leather gloves, make sure it is not over 300k. If you guys do buy a plus 6 glove for 300k, that is OP. You can just enchant it yourself without spending 300k. So just make sure you guys don't make that mistake. But moving on to the sword option, not the sword option. Well, yeah, basically the sword option, that's a misclick. I meant to change that to wand options. Give me a second here, guys. I can't find it. Where's the sword option? So I'm just gonna go ahead and change this real quick to wand options. There we go. So moving on to our wand options, pretty much like the warrior and the ranger. The ranger has the longbow, the warrior has the canine to the madness. So for a mage, uses a oak tree staff. So for now, I do want to spend like a little bit of time talking about the wand options for you guys. So basically, a oak tree staff, it is known a INT plus 6, which is these are the match stats, guys, by the way. So it is known, probably, I don't know how many servers, but it is currently known that a INT plus 6 exists. We have not found one on TurtleZ server, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if someone found one yet, but I have not seen one. If you guys, for those of you guys that play on TurtleZ and actually have a screenshot of a INT 6 oak tree staff, just be sure to call me or send it to me on any of my social media links. I really want to see that. But yeah, moving on. A oak tree staff, like I said, these are the max stats, and it's pretty much a better version of a, what do you call that? A, god damn it, I forgot the one, that other one that drops on Mushroom Marshland from the things. Wooden staff. There will a oak tree staff is like a better version than a wooden staff. And of course, if you guys aren't able to farm for a oak tree staff, etc., anything else, just go ahead and grab yourself a wooden staff. Wooden staffs are easy to get a plus 5 INT, while the oak tree staff is a little bit difficult to get a pretty good decent on MP and a pretty decent INT. But if you guys do go for the oak tree staff, which is the best one a mage can use, make sure the INT is at least at 4. Anything lower than 4 INT is pretty much useless. And of course, if you guys do find a 4 INT, make sure it has at least a little bit of mana, because the mana, every little chunks of mana are definitely help out a mage, because you need all the mana you can get to actually dish out more damage and to last longer on the battlefield. So moving on to our last options, we got a ring options here. So let me go ahead and narrow it down. So just like the warrior and the ranger, the two best rings we're going to be taking a look at are going to be the Ring of Ancient and the Guardian's Ring. And of course, like I keep saying, if you can't afford the Guardian's Ring, go for the Ring of Ancient. If you can't afford that, just go ahead and grab yourselves a core ring, really cheapest and easiest ring to obtain. And don't worry about the poison resist, just go for the 5 fire resist, which is the max fire resist. But pretty much other than that, just go ahead. Yeah, you guys don't even have to go ahead and waste time on getting a core ring. Just go ahead and if you guys don't have the money, just keep joining dungeon battle. Even if you guys don't win, you guys still get that dungeon token. But if you guys do win, you get more dungeon tokens. So just if you guys, like I keep saying, if you guys can't afford a Ring of Ancient, just go join dungeon battle like a couple of times, and you'll be able to get your own for free Ring of Ancient. But if you guys can't afford it, just make sure the Ring of Ancient is at least 50 HP. Anything lower than that is pretty much, in my opinion, a waste of a Ancient Ring, because you need the 50 just to make it like a multiple of 5. Anything, like I keep saying, anything lower than that is just a waste. Guardian's Ring, every Guardian's Ring comes with that. So that's pretty much the mage equipment guide, guys. Not pretty much nothing else to explain or to go into more details, because I think I already did that on my 40-minute warrior guide video, which took forever. And like I said, give me a second, it's on 13 minutes, not bad. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And like I explained on the beginning of the video, pretty much all the items you see on the recommended on the little avatar right here on the equipment holder, pretty much every single item, it really depends what stat build you're building. Because if you build your mage, like let's say you build your mage as 18 INT and you added some con, if you did add some con to your build, you're gonna have you're basically known what's called a mixed mage. So a mixed mage basically, like I explained on the hat options, a mixed mage uses a frog hat, or pretty much a mixed mage uses a Santa School hat and a magician's hat as well, maybe like frog hat, etc. And then for the rest of the things, mixed mage uses both mushroom robe and the Santa costume, etc. And then support mage, you guys know just the Santa Claus hat and Santa's costume, etc. And yeah, it really depends for the Eclipse what stat builds you guys are building. And then for the skill build, it really depends as well on what stat build, because if you're a support mage, you're gonna have to go for everything that's support based, etc. You can't, like, if let's say if you guys go for the what do you call that? Let's say you guys go for the full 18 INT and 18 Wisdom, which is known as the Burst Mage. If you guys will go for that build, you guys cannot mix in like HP enchanted gear, because that's I've got to tell you guys, I already tried that, and it does not make, it actually makes your character worse. If you guys are going for the full 18 INT, 18 Wisdom, just go for the full INT. It's better. You're better off with full INT than going for HP, because you can actually nuke people. You can land like with, if you guys have like a +8 wand, and yeah, with pretty much a +8 wand and 34 INT, you are basically landing 100 crits, 90 plus crits on your enemies. It really depends if they have like fire resist, like Guardian's Ring, etc. And whoop ahead, especially a warrior. Warrior takes less damage, but a ranger and a mage are gonna be dying. You're gonna be nuking them, but yeah. That's pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for watching this equipment video guide. If you guys haven't watched my part 1 of the Mage Battlefield 1 Mage guide, be sure to go ahead and watch that, where I explain the stat builds. And yeah, you guys can, like, pretty much nobody can watch the equipment guide without watching the part 1 of the other video, because you guys gotta understand the stat build before you guys actually start building your characters correctly. Because if you guys don't do everything correctly, then your character is not going to be as strong as you guys think. But yeah, what was I going to tell you guys? So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. That's pretty much all I have to say. If you guys are enjoying this series and my channel, be sure to leave a like on all my videos. And if you guys really are enjoying my channel and the videos as well, and if you're a fan, just be sure to smash the subscribe button to be part of the Sloper crew, and just leave a comment on anything you guys want information on. And if I don't reply to the YouTube comments, just be sure to hit me up on Twitter, Kakao, Facebook, etc. All my social media links. And yeah, I will be uploading probably part 3 of the Ranger video tomorrow. Maybe if I have a lot of time, I'll probably upload both skill builds for the Mage and the Ranger. If I don't, then I'll just upload the Ranger one. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.